Greetings, fellow anime gamers, and once again, I'm coming at you with some exciting, I guess this is another one of those occasions where I wouldn't exactly call this an exciting video, but maybe more along the lines of an interesting topic, I guess. Before I start though, I do want to let you guys know that I still have off-topic Sundays planned to do in the future, as well as some import reviews and regular regional reviews, I guess, non-import reviews basically. I want to try my hand at other things with the Vita on this channel, such as Let's Plays and even, like I was saying, review type videos. Is that something you guys would like to kind of see going forward in the future? I definitely have plans. The only problem is that it's just trying to find the time to squeeze in all this. It's gotten to the point to where I want to do a particular video for you guys, but then something happens in the Vita community and all of a sudden, oh, I gotta cover that. So then that video gets bumped more and more back. And if you guys might notice in the future, some of my Vita Pouch episodes, which include mostly unboxing and whatnot, they're games that came out probably weeks, maybe even months back, but I haven't had a chance to actually upload the video or get it going just because other videos got in the way. So that's the whole reason why this thing has sort of become convoluted. But don't worry, I am planning to hold up on all my promises. There's still going to be new Vita Pouch episodes. There's going to be Let's Plays. Hopefully I'm going to try and work on that, see what maybe you guys might take a poll to see what you guys would like me to play and probably fail at. And I also want to do some review type videos, in particular imports, because imports to me are something that are kind of taboo in the Vita community. I don't see a lot of people covering them, and there are a lot of good import games on the Vita that I feel that should be brought more to light into the Vita community. So neither storm nor snow nor fleet of wind will prevent me from bringing you guys the latest in everything Vita. Yeah, I know, that didn't really rhyme, did it? So anyway, that said, on to today's topic. So kind of some sad news today. It has officially been confirmed, and when I say officially, I mean vaguely officially confirmed, by PlayStation's official Spanish website in Spain that the Vita is in fact being discontinued in that region. The reason I say that it was vaguely mentioned is because they were kind of, well, vague about the whole thing, and then a fan basically just went up to them and asked them on Twitter, is the Vita being discontinued? And they said, and I quote, "Hi, yes, indeed, it's been discontinued." So there you have it, guys. In Spain, the Vita is no longer going to be available. Now, this has a lot of Vita fans kind of nervous, and with good reason too, thinking to themselves, oh my gosh, are we next? Are we next? We're next, aren't we? Prices are going to skyrocket, which they probably already are, even more than they have been. But, I mean, yeah, it could potentially mean that the Vita might be discontinued in 2018, or at least in the near future. I mean, we already got word that PlayStation Plus is no longer going to be available for the PlayStation Vita come, I believe, March of next year. So yeah, I mean, the writing's kind of been on the wall for a long time. In fact, if you even go back into the past and were to ask me, is the Vita going to be discontinued, I honestly didn't think it'd even make it this long, and I really do mean that, guys. I thought the PlayStation Vita was going to be discontinued maybe sometime in 2017, early-ish 2017 or so, but the fact that we're already well into 2018 and games are still coming aplenty, and you have to look back just at my news videos. I cover mostly physical media for the PlayStation Vita, as a lot of you have probably noticed. That's not even including all of the huge indie releases that are coming out for the Vita continuously every month. So I wouldn't really be too concerned about it. I mean, when you really stop and think about it, at least here in the US where I live, granted Japan's probably the only exception to the rule just because the Vita is doing so well over there, but over here in the US, you'd be hard-pressed to find anything of the PlayStation Vita, and it's still officially not discontinued here. You go into your local Walmart, you go into even GameStop, Best Buy, you'd be hard-pressed to even find a new Vita that they even have. And when I say Vita, I'm talking about mostly the system itself. I'm not talking about the games, although the games are pretty hard to find too. I mean, I think you really would have to just mostly go to GameStop or a retro game store to find those. But as far as like the system itself goes, yeah, you don't see systems that often anymore, especially let alone brand new. You might get lucky and find one at GameStop used, or at, like I said, a mom and pop retro store used, but new? I have not seen a new Vita in probably well over a year, and like I said, the system's not even discontinued yet. So for me, I don't really see it much of a change, even if it was to get discontinued in the West, which, yeah, we all know it's coming sooner or later. But you guys have to keep something in mind too. Maybe this will kind of put your mind at ease, is that Sony is very lenient on companies releasing games for their legacy platforms. In fact, one prime example is that they actually allowed Xseed to develop 2 brand new games for the Sony PSP in 2015. Yes, you heard me right. they allowed Xseed to publish 2 new games for the PSP in 2015, long before the system had been discontinued. So I honestly don't really see much of a change going on here. I mean, you have to think there's some companies that they know this very well, how lenient Sony is with their releases, because companies like Strictly Limited, they barely even started getting into the Vita. In fact, they've only released their first Vita title, which was 99 Vitas, which ironically you're seeing on the screen right now. Yes, this is their first release, and they barely are starting with it, and they have lots more planned for the future, so they're not going to be putting all their eggs in one basket for no good reason. Granted, yeah, they're going to be doing other Switch releases as well, but still, I mean, you know, these companies, they know what they're doing. Plus, Limited Run, I don't think is going to stop anytime soon. I mean, Doug once said in a past interview that they're going to keep releasing Vita games until Sony basically tells them not to anymore. Yeah, which, given their past track record, probably won't be for a while. A lot of these indie developers aren't going to be stopping anytime soon. And I hate to kind of beat a dead horse here, just because I know it's been said to death already amongst the Vita community, but just because a system is dead doesn't mean it's not relevant anymore. I go back to the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis, the Sega Master System, the Atari 2600. People are still collecting for these. Well, okay, maybe not so much Atari 2600. There's not a whole lot of collectors for that, especially with that whole ugly Atari box coming out, but that's another video. But yeah, people are still collecting for these. Retro game stores are still thriving. Why do you think these mom and pop shops open? Because people want to play these older games. Just because the Vita is going to be discontinued, and again, I'm saying this for the future, it's not discontinued here in the US or in Europe or anything like that. It's still thriving. But even when the day does come, why is it not relevant anymore just because it's an older system? Are the games no longer games just because it's on a system that isn't being manufactured anymore? I really don't think so. And like I said, you know, the Nintendo NES has been dead for, gosh, what's it been, 30 years? Well, maybe not 30 years, maybe almost 30 years. And people are still collecting for it. Why is it that this has to matter with the Vita? I mean, there's still a ton of games out there, guys. In fact, if you look at its physical library, which you know I'm big on, there's over, I want to say, 600 games released worldwide for the PlayStation Vita. That's including, you know, Japan, Europe, the United States, stuff like that. 600 games. If you were to just want to go for like a complete worldwide set, I don't even think you'd be able to finish 600 games in your lifetime unless you're like really were dedicated to it. Kind of funny too, because a lot of the mainstream gamers out there don't even know that there's that many games available for the Vita. I mean, you guys know the whole tagline, the Vita has no games. Well, if you look at its library, including its physical library, including its indie library, including even its backlog, like of, you know, PSP and PS1 games. I'm not sure if I count those as much because they were on a totally different platform, but hey, they're there. That's over 1,000 games, maybe even 2,000 games that are available, and that's not even including what's still coming out for the PlayStation Vita. So anyways, guys, that's pretty much all I have to say on this. Hopefully this video was able to kind of ease your mind a little bit. Like I said, if you were to ask me, could the PlayStation Vita be discontinued soon here in the West or in Europe or whatnot? Yeah, maybe. Am I worried about it? Am I worried about us not getting any more future games for the system? No, not at all. In fact, I think things are just basically beginning with a lot of its releases. But, you know, we'll have to see what the future holds for it. So let me know, guys. This is like kind of an interesting topic here. Tell me down in the comments, what do you think about this? Do you think this is the end? Do you think that maybe we're still going to be getting a lot more games like I do? Do you think that Sony's going to eventually tell these companies to stop and say, hey, wait, no more Vita games? Especially considering that they don't technically have any more portable systems coming out yet. They probably are going to be keeping the PlayStation Vita going outside of Japan for a while, especially with companies like Strictly Limited and Limited Run Games, Play Asia, Signature Edition games. They're going to be keeping it up as so long as they're making a profit. And these games are selling very quick, so they're definitely making some sort of a profit of it. Anyway, guys, I've kind of rambled on long enough with this. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. And as always, anime gamers, we must forge our own path. Anything is possible. Thanks for watching.